What's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us just a little bit of your time. And Tex jumps right back on just in time to get the show started. On this episode, we've got some casting additions to Stranger Things Season 5. We've got some sad news about one of the greatest animal handlers ever to be put on TV. We give you our thoughts on the first trailer for the movie that I'm still not 100% sure is actually going to get made in Kraven the Hunter. And we give you our thoughts on episode 1 of Secret Invasion. But here to break down all of the goodness with you are two of my co-hosts tonight, starting with my hetero life mate Jeremy. What's up with you, brother?
Not much. I mean, I guess like I said, we can put a poll up in the chat. Who do you think is a Skrull? Who do you think isn't?
Everybody's a Skrull at this point.
Everybody's a suspect.
That's just kind of what I'm going with, is that everybody's a Skrull. I mean, that's kind of where I think, we'll go into it later, but I mean, it would make sense. Like, everybody's a damn Skrull.
Pretty much.
But, and then, of course, joining us, he is going to be the disembodied voice with no face today because he got into some poison ivy, apparently. You're not supposed to write that stuff down there, Tex. You know better. Our good friend, First State, our man, Tex.
What that whole thing about if your friend dared you to jump off a bridge, would you? Well, mine said to go roll in the bushes, and it didn't end well for me. But I will live, and I promise you, I'm not a Skrull, and I'm crossing my fingers right now, so you can believe me. But yeah, it's all good. I mean, I promise not to kill either of you by the end of this episode. So it'll be all good.
I mean, we know you're the DC fan, man, but you didn't have to go that close to poison ivy.
Well, I thought about I was looking for that real life experience of what it would be like to go down on poison ivy, and it's not good, boys. So don't go there. Just fair warning.
Yeah, you go catch something. You might want to call up some
should have had her checked.
That's why Clooney didn't come back. He went down on poison ivy.
That is true, and a great callback to last week. I dig it.
It took 25 years for him to get over it to come back and play Bruce Wayne.
Right? But, somebody had to, I guess.
But yeah, a little bit of breaking news, some stuff that dropped just a couple of hours ago, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. We just talked about The Flash last week. We know that the DC cinematic efforts, whatever they're called now, are in a bit of a state of flux. But some news did come out a couple hours ago that there are two names that are now in the running, not to play Superman, but to play the main villain, Lex Luthor. And it was being reported on THR that the brothers Skarsgård, Alexander and Bill, are apparently both in the running to play Lex Luthor in Superman Legacy. There's not much to this right now. I mean, as I'm going over this article, obviously it mentions a lot about kind of the state of DC and their cinematic stuff. It mentions a lot of stuff, but ultimately this is the big news that comes out of it. I can imagine that we're probably going to get some stuff at Comic-Con from them, since DC or Warner is pretty much going to be the only people there. But I don't know. This is a pretty interesting thought to see one of these guys. The idea of one of these guys playing Lex Luthor. I'll go to you first, Jeremy. Either one of these guys they jump out at you as Lex Luthor. Which one would you prefer?
Well, it's like I'm trying to sit here and picture one of them bald. That's my first hurdle.
Right.
And it's not like, it's not that they're not both, great in their own regard. I don't doubt. They could play I guess maybe I can imagine Pennywise, just less makeup and less of a, almost a cone head type deal. But I don't know. I would just hate to. It's almost. I guess my only negative thing is I'm like, well, of course it's Skarsgård. Yeah, they're pretty hot right now. They're good at what they do, and that's why I wouldn't doubt it. But I'm also like, okay, but do we have anyone else who can do this? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Let me just if I can pull up a picture of one of them bald, I'll just stare at it for a while and see if I can figure that one out. But maybe I don't think they'd be like Jesse Eisenberg levels of crazy, but it'd be like that subtle unhinged, that you kind of want out of a Lex Luthor, not quite Kevin Spacey, screaming in your face, but a happy medium between those two. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Tex, what do you think? Do you want one of these guys? Who jumps out at you as maybe your favorite to play the role?
I don't know much about Alexander, but obviously Bill was Pennywise in the latest iteration of the franchise. It would be very easy to fan cast Bill Skarsgård as Joker. I mean, anybody could do that, and I think he could really nail the role, and I would love to see it. But I mean, how many times have we restarted the DC universe? We're all 15, 25 now? I can't keep up, right? So we're going to have to get some big names and major roles, because, I mean, we know that James Gunn he likes to push side characters and everything else, so we need some real name stays with Batman, Lex Luthor, Superman, whatever it may be. I like Bill Skarsgård for this. I mean, I haven't seen all of his work, but everything that I've ever seen him in, he nails it. And he's got an evil face,
Have you seen The Northman?
Not all the way, but yes, I have seen it, yes.
He's the main character in The Northman. He's the guy that goes back to get revenge. That's Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah.
And I love that movie.
Okay.
I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Bill. I was like, wait, Bill Skarsgård? I was like, okay, but yeah, but either way, if that's him, he's a quality actor as well. But I'm okay with this. Now, I guess those rumors of who was the guy that played Beast in the X-Men reboot, the younger timeline, Nathan,
that's Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult, yeah. He was heavily rumored there for a while. I don't know if maybe he's still in the running, or who knows, but I think he could do it as well. I could as well see him in the role, but I want them to get a good group of just core talent like Marvel did, in phase one, people that we can ride for 10 years with and keep these same roles. So whoever it is, I'm hoping Gunn nails it and we can just go forward, and we don't have to worry about recastings, because this is beyond old, man.
Yeah. As for me, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these guys. They're both extremely talented. So if news broke this very second that one or the other was cast, I'd be pretty happy to hear that. I prefer Alexander Skarsgård over Bill Skarsgård for one particular reason. He's getting typecast in not negative roles, but villainous roles. And I think that he's got better acting chops than that. I want to, look, I loved him as Pennywise. I've loved him in a lot of things that I've seen him in, but he's always playing this brooding, kind of scary character. He did the voice for the one smart, whatever the hell, alien thing in the Eternals. He's been great in all those things, but I want to see him stretch his legs a little bit, do something more dramatic, make him play a good guy. I would not at all be mad if he were to get cast as Superman. I mean, I know he's not in the running for that role from what I've heard. There's other people.
Wasn't he also the bad guy in this recent John Wick? Wasn't he like the rich guy or something?
I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know. But I don't know if he's just a bad guy or if he's just one of the people. Because technically, if you think about it, even John Wick is a bad guy. He's an assassin. Well, it's just this collection of crazy characters who get together and shoot each other. But so I don't know what dog guy.
That's a little different. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. He's the protagonist. That's not the good guy.
He is like the rich guy who's basically like, yeah, I can wave some money at somebody and be like, yeah, go kill John Wick. And I'm like, well, that doesn't shock me. You're kind of this twisted dude in this underground world of assassins,
Yeah, so. But that's my only. I mean, like I said, I couldn't go wrong with either one of these guys to cast either one of them. But I prefer Alexander Skarsgård because I want to see Bill do something other than just playing a villain. I don't want to see him get pigeonholed into that because if you look at guys like Jack Nicholson, it's like he got kind of pigeonholed for a lot of his career into playing not the bad guy, but kind of like the same character over and over again. It wasn't until a little bit later in his career that he started to branch out and do some other things. And that's when a lot of, especially some of the younger generation who didn't watch him in the 70s and 60s, kind of said, hey, wait a minute, this guy is really as good as advertised. When you can kind of see him kind of, open up a little bit and do different things and try different roles. And I really want to see Bill Skarsgård get into some stuff like that.
Whoever it is, though, I need to see Lex Luthor in the power suit, in the green and purple robotic suit that he always has. I am sick and freaking tired of Lex Luthor just in the suit in the background. that's been done by, I mean, Gene Hackman, Kevin Spacey, Michael Rosenbaum did it in Smallville, Jesse Eisenberg. Give us the Lex Luthor full powered in the Kryptonian suit, which I thought we were going to get after Man of Steel. I thought they would, Lex Luthor would steal some of the Kryptonian technology and make that suit because it would look really cool, but we never got it. So whoever it is, give us a Lex Luthor that's powered by one of those suits. I mean, it's what the character does, but I mean, who knows what they're going to do.
I hope they go bigger. I want the mech suit for.
Well,
I do too. Yeah.
I'm okay with that in time. I don't want that right off the jump because one of the things I kind of liked about Gene Hackman's portrayal I really liked, say what you want about Kevin Spacey. I really liked the way that Kevin Spacey made that character a lot more evil because Hackman was still a bit cartoonish. It was still good for what they did with the Christopher Reeve stuff back in the late 70s. But when it came to, Kevin Spacey, I liked that he was a bit more evil. Like he wasn't so jokey and kind of quirky. He was kind of a little bit more straight evil. I like the fact that a guy like a character like Superman, who is super powered, that he has so many problems dealing with this guy who is a mere mortal. I mean,
there's another rich guy I know that gives you some problems.
Yeah, it's so odd that this guy who's got the bumbling, Ned Beatty as his little sidekick and Miss Tessmacher and all this stuff, that he's giving Superman all these problems. I like the fact that it's so uneven, but yet Lex Luthor, those versions of Lex Luthor were still great bad guys that were great foils for Superman. So I can understand like you want to do something different, so maybe going to the whole mech suit and kind of making him kind of the Iron Man Jr. Hulkbuster, whatever you want to compare it to in Marvel, but kind of giving him that to kind of make him more of a sincere physical threat to Superman. I get it. I just don't want to see that right off the jump. I really like the idea of having this human person who can give Superman so many problems. I think that makes him fun. I think that makes him bad.
Somebody said it last week in the comments. Enviro, I forget who they were. There was somebody we've never had in here before, but they were saying that Michael Rosenbaum was their favorite Luthor. And I kind of have to agree because, yes, he had a lot longer to play Lex Luthor. I mean, Smallville went, 10 seasons? But he had that evil kind of vindictiveness to him, but there was the charm that was needed to, he's not a bad guy anymore. He's reformed, and you can believe him. As much as I like Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal and, the Snyderverse, he never had that likable side that could kind of sway you in. You know what I mean? So it was, whoever they get, they really need to look at what Rosenbaum did and not copy it, but learn from it, I guess is I would suggest. So.
And I don't think Jesse Eisenberg is very menacing.
Don't get me wrong. I liked his portrayal. It just, he didn't have all of it, but to be fair, he didn't get a lot of opportunity to play that role. So I don't know.
I think once he finally got put into prison, he lost the hair, and I was like, okay, now you're getting it. I'm like, I know he's just, a quirky, having been beaten as a child kind of, and you've got some problems, but I'm like, okay, I'm like, I kind of see like a little bit of Gene Hackman in there, maybe, because it is like Tech said, it's a little goofy, but I'm like, I feel like you're trying too hard. And then like it was just like, once he finally, you got that iconic look, and then I'm like, okay, I think you're starting to get the evil in you a little bit. And yeah, I'm still mad they still took Deathstroke from us. I was so excited when I saw that fucker walk onto the yacht.
Oh my God, like, yes. Yeah.
Tell me you're doing it. Nope.
Dude, the moment you see Lex Luthor sitting there on that yacht and Deathstroke just walks up, even though the suit was CG'd onto him, I'm like, okay, give me a Deathstroke movie now. Like, I give me the Legion of Doom versus the Justice League. I mean, just go full bore with it. Give me, all of them. But obviously that didn't happen. But that's the story of being a DC fan. It's like being a DC fan is like having a really bad prom date. They just tease you, and then at the end of the night, you're blue balled. You just never deliver. But it is what it is.
You mean like when they say they'll go with you, and as soon as they get to the dance, they spend the whole
right.
around the arm to some other guy, which that definitely is a hypothetical.
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
Yeah, they're you're making out, you're getting hot and heavy. You
didn't even do that.
You get that hand under the sweater, and then you get that slap on top of the hand. It's like, oh, we're not going. Oh, well, fine. I'll just go home. Whatever. I hate you. It's one of those kind of things. But what you got to do?
In the Legion of Doom. Yeah.
Right.
But, again, this is news that just broke a couple of hours ago. I think we're still a long way away from any real casting, probably at least another month. But, I mean, another story that came out, John Campia talked about it today, and this is becoming a bit of a story. One of the reasons why I think DC is going to easily own Comic-Con this year is because nobody else is going to be there. So I can expect that DC is going to roll out with some pretty big announcements on Comic-Con just because – why not? Because Disney's probably going to wait till D23 in August or September before they give us the Fantastic forecasting or any real big news, any big trailers, about any big announcements about what's to come. So I would imagine that here in about a month or so, we're going to finally know exactly which one of these guys is getting the role. And according to this article, Nicholas Hoult and Rachel Brosnahan did some screen tests together, as well as Tom Brittany and Phoebe Denevor. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced her name. They did some chemistry tests together, as well as David Cornsweet and Emma McKee. They all did some chemistry tests together on camera, and I guess Gunn and Safran were taking that at some point this week, maybe, to the big brass up at Warner Brothers. So maybe that casting is going to officially happen here in the next couple of weeks, and they're going to announce it at Comic-Con here next month. So keep an eye out, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on for DC.
Yeah, David Cornsweet, or I'd probably mispronounce his last name, but if you watch the movie Pearl, the horror film that came out this past year, he was the guy that played the projectionist in that role or in that film, and he very much has the cornfed, middle of the country kind of look, feel to him that you want for Clark Kent, and he looks like he could be freaking Henry Cavill's freaking like younger brother. Like if you look pictures of them next to one another, they could be related. He looks like a Superman. I mean, muscle wise, I don't know. I've only seen him in one film, but you gotta get that chemistry between both Clark and Lois and Clark and Lex, because those two roles are key to carrying the film. Like, I mean, hell, in Superman Returns, you had Brandon Routh replacing Christopher Reeve, obviously, and you had Kevin Spacey. I never thought those two fit together, and those two roles were so closely tied that if they aren't key, it just doesn't work. So I hope they nail it, but we'll see.
Yeah, but go down the comments below. Let us know what you guys think of this news that broke just today. The brothers Skarsgård are both in the running to play Lex Luthor in Superman Legacy, which James Gunn has said he wants to get in front of the cameras sometime early 2024 to make the release date, which right now is scheduled for July 11th of 2025, right in the middle of what could be a big summer movie season. So go down in the comments below. Let us know which one of those guys you guys want, or if there's another name, put that name in there as well. But now moving on to our first official story. We did get some big Stranger Things casting news straight from Tudum, a global fan event. Linda Hamilton from The Terminator is joining the cast of Stranger Things Season 5. What role will she play? How will she interact with the traumatized citizens of Hawkins? Will she join the fight against Vecna? Will she go toe-to-toe with them? That we don't quite know. But we do know that Hamilton is a major fan of the series. While she wasn't live on stage at Tudum in Brazil, her old pal and Netflix's chief action officer, Arnold Schwarzenegger, was there to set the stage for the Terminator co-star. Tex, I mean, this has been out for a couple of days now. What do you think of Sarah Connor herself making her way to Stranger Things?
It's perfect casting for the 80s nostalgia, fan servicing. Obviously, this is the last season as far as we know anyways. and every year they always bring somebody back. Well, I think it was season 3. They cast Cary Elwes as the mayor of Hawkins. I think he was some sort of political figure. I can't remember. We had who was the guy that played Rudy and Samwise?
Sean Astin. Yeah.
Sean Astin. Yeah. So we've had a lot of bigger names that. Bob. Now, one thing that I kind of do worry about is she going to be the Bob?
We lost you, Tex. What'd you say?
Dropped right when he said what he thought she was going to be. And we lost him to the Upside Down. Damn it!
Somebody started playing the music. He was getting too close. I don't know. While we
get him back from the Upside Down.
Yeah, but we may as well just go to Jeremy right now to get some of his thoughts. I mean, what do you think, Jeremy? She's joining Stranger Things season 5.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, like we said, she's. Are you back from the Upside Down there, buddy? You good?
Sorry, I got caught in Vecna's web, and I had to put on my headphones to get out.
I was gonna say you running up that hill real quick, huh?
Yeah. No, what I was saying was I hope Linda Hamilton is not the Bob or the Eddie Munson role that everybody's like, oh, yay, they're here, only for Netflix to kill them as bloody as possible. You know what I mean? That's what I was worried about.
Bob deserves
please go ahead.
Damn it.
I never cared about Bob, to be honest. I was like, he's just, whatever. I didn't, whatever. And
dare talk about Samwise Gamgee you like that?
I still,
the Brave.
Him and Frodo had an awkward relationship, to say the least. I have questions, but I'm not going to ask. Either way, I'm excited for this. You know they're going to do some Terminator references. Like, I'm surprised they haven't reached out to somebody within. I mean, how big were the Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Fridays? You know, hell, they had a Michael Myers mask, so why not reach out to somebody from the Halloween cast? You know, I mean, I'm surprised they haven't done something like that. You know what I mean?
You know what you could do? You could, I mean, I know it was the 90s, but you could make a Scream joke. You could have actually Robert Englund like as the janitor instead.
I forgot about Robert Englund in their last season. He actually he was the father of
that's
Henry, the kid that becomes Vecna. He was his daddy. You remember? Yeah, he cut his own eyes out or whatever. So yeah, I guess they did get Nightmare covered, but there's still a lot of other 80s nostalgia bait actors that they can reach out to. But I mean, hey, Terminator's huge. I mean, until they killed the franchise with all those horrible sequels,
she's going to provoke those aviators and be like, I'll be back.
So say, I don't know if they can license that sound effect from the Terminator at some point, but that would be great if they could. Netflix has money, so, just pay it out. It's worth it, just for the soundtrack one time.
Yeah, but we'll go back to Jeremy now to finish getting his thoughts. I mean, what do you think about her joining the cast?
Well, as I was going to say, I'm like, yeah, talk about like an 80s icon. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's I'm not mad about it. I mean, the only thing I'm mad about is I'm like, well, great, but when is this gonna come out? Like in 2050? So
yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
You can say whatever you want. I'm like, you can tell me Eddie Munson's coming back, and I'm like, okay, but I'll believe it when I see it. So now, and like you said, I'm waiting for some references. I mean, she might tell, one of the kids, like, come with me if you want to live or some shit. Swing open a minivan door and be like, come with me if you want to live. I don't know. Some shit like that.
That's the kind of reference you'd expect, though.
Yeah, I know.
Those little subtle cues like that that's kind of what the show does when it tries to.
What if they had one of the other cast members say that to her, not have her say it, though? That might be kind of fun.
Good, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it all depends on what kind of a role she's going to play. I would imagine she's probably going to be kind of in the same vein as like Paul Reiser's character over the course of the series.
Yeah, I could see that. She's
probably going to be somebody like him. I don't think she's going to be some helpless, Mary Sue kind of character.
Nah.
I would imagine she's going to be someone who's kind of in the know. We're going to see her kind of like Matthew Modine's character of Papa, where like him. She's probably going to be some governmental person that is either already aware of this whole program that has led to all the stuff that we've experienced over the course of this entire series, or someone who is drawn into it but is not really intimidated by it. She's going to go head first, and she's going to do what she's got to do.
Or she's got some little punk-looking kid who looks very suspiciously like Edward Furlong from the 90s. But
yeah.
Well, I mean, if you watch, was it Terminator Genesis? I think it was, where John Connor gets shot on the beach in Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, so
that was Dark Fate.
Was it Dark Fate? To be honest, both of those movies were so terrible they kind of meshed together in my brain. But hey, if you want to, hey, bring Edward Furlong as well. Hey, bring Arnold too. Why not? Just bring the whole Terminator cast. Let's just chalk this thing up. Let's do it.
Yeah, why not?
As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I'm happy about it. I'm ecstatic as a Linda Hamilton fan, as a Terminator fan, as a Stranger Things fan. There's nothing bad about this. It really is kind of fitting. I mean, they've done a very good job with the series overall. I mean, they're batting pretty much 1,000 with the nostalgic references. I mean, you bring in a Carrie Elwes, you bring in, Robert Englund, you bring in some of these people that were from either that era of the 80s of entertainment. Sean Astin, the Goonies, obviously. Matthew Modine himself, a big star in the 80s as he was coming into his own. He was in a lot of great movies in the 80s. But I mean, the Terminator references are going to be easy because, I mean, a couple seasons ago they were Ghostbusters for Halloween, and that came out in '84.
Yeah.
So we know that
it was season 2, wasn't it? I think it was.
Because I was going to say, because season 2 was
the Terminator movie has already come out. Yeah, so Terminator is in the universe, in the zeitgeist. So there's no reason why we shouldn't get some whatever. Or even if she walks by the video store and sees that cardboard cutout of Arnold Schwarzenegger, she just kind of looks it up and down, kind of like Robert Englund looks at the mannequin in Terminator 2, or not Robert Englund, but Robert Englund looks at the mannequin in Terminator 2, looks up and down. If she does something like that, when she sees Arnold in a cardboard cutout of the Terminator, kind of looks him down, and walks away. Little things like that are going to be great.
Wouldn't it be funny if all of a sudden she passes on the street, she passes by Robert Patrick, and they kind of just fucking look at each other for a second? He shows it. No, what if Robert Patrick was a fucking cop on the street, just looking down the road,
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be cool.
She's gonna be looking for Wolfpack. She's gonna pull out a picture and be like, "Have you seen this boy?"
Right. Do a little Wayne's World for you, yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously,
I can see him being a grizzled Hawkins cop. You got to have somebody else other than
obviously, we're not getting Sarah Connor herself, but the question begs to be asked: which version do we get? Do we get the first one where she's oblivious, come save me, or do we get the one doing pull-ups in the psych ward? Because those are two very different Sarah Connors. Personally, I'll take the one with the headband in Mexico looking to blast Terminators away, because Terminator 2 is just great. But I don't know.
That'll do some shit to you.
You gotta, we gotta have a shotgun in our hand at some point in time, shooting at a Demogorgon or a Demobad or whatever creature they come up with for this season. But it's gotta happen.
Just limping just trying to with one hand. Boom.
Right. Sarah Connor grabs a pump action, loads it with one hand, it just blows somebody away. That'd be great. Just it doesn't have. Even if they kill her off, that's fine. Give us one moment of whatever. That'd be cool.
If they kill her off and just getting sucked into the upside down, you just see her hand go down.
Oh, she got to do the thumbs up. You got to do the thumbs up. Right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, the references and throwbacks would be the easy part. I'm just curious as to what kind of character she's going to play.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't want to see her play another Sarah Connor, but I do like it when she plays someone who's capable, because that's what she is. She's a very capable person, and I feel like that. That's where. I think that would be a great strength if she were to do something like that.
It'd be kind of cool to see her in some creature makeup as one of Vecna's, leaders in the army or something. I mean, if you don't want to, go against her typecast of being the heroine, or whatever, put her in some cool makeup.
Cool,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go completely against it, because obviously Vecna's body's been destroyed. Now he's gone full Freddy Krueger mode. He's in your mind or whatever. So Hamilton could be like the physical general of his army that rises up through the town in Hawkins or whatever. That yeah. There's 1,000 things that can be, and of course we're just speculating because nobody knows anything. But you know,
I guess you could say then it's Judgment Day.
Right? Yeah.
Did they? It's been a while since I've watched the last season. I'll have to go back and watch at least the last couple episodes. Did they establish that Vecna is the Lord and ruler of everything upside down, or is there still somebody other than him?
No, they established Vecna. Vecna's been the bad guy since season 1. He's been pulling strings. There's even YouTube videos that have callbacks to in this moment in season 1 when Will was having this problem, or in season 2 or whatever. Vecna's been the bad guy the whole time, and that's what the ending was in season 4. Was when they go back to, was it 78 or 79? I can't remember the year in the show, but when Elle first defeats him, he's been the bad guy the whole time. He's our Freddy Krueger, so.
Yeah, you say that. I mean, that's the point that I was trying to make on Bill Skarsgård earlier, is that it'd be interesting to see him going against what we're always seeing him as. So seeing him be a good guy or a superhero would be awesome. It would be very interesting to see her, maybe be the one who we find out in the last couple episodes, in the last 1 or 2 episodes, that she was really the one pulling all these strings. All of this is happening because of her.
I think it'd be cool.
That would be kind of cool, but if they've already established Vecna as the main bad guy, then that'd be kind of hard to do.
Well, I mean, just because, he's the leader of the army, he's going to have some generals underneath him. We've seen very little of the Upside Down. So who knows what else is out there? And hey, if we get an Eddie Munson call back as some sort of vampire-esque creature, hey, come on now. But I know Jeremy would be chomping at the bit to cosplay that. But there's just so much you can do with her. She's a quality actress. Yes, she's infamous for her Terminator role, but she's an icon. She's instantly recognizable. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's great casting. Again, you never go wrong adding talent. You're adding one of the best talents of a generation. I think it's absolutely fantastic that she's going to be here. So let us know what you guys think. Go down in the comments below. Stranger Things season 5 is adding Sarah Connor herself, Linda Hamilton. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, moving on to the next story, a bit of a sad one. Jack Hanna, who hosted several television shows on animals and was a regular presence on late-night talk shows, it has now been revealed is suffering from Alzheimer's disease. His family finally revealed in an interview with his hometown media outlet. In a talk with the Columbus Dispatch, Hanna's family has spoken for the first time about his condition, and that's prompted an outpouring of support. Hanna is now living in Montana with family members. The Columbus Zoo and Aquarium is offering guests the ability to send notes of love and support. Hanna served in the director's role at the Columbus Zoo for 42 years before finally retiring in 2020.
Wow.
Jeremy, honestly, I've known this guy for a long time too, but your childhood, this guy was all over the place. Leno and Carson and everything with the whole animal thing. So I know that this is something that is definitely it's something that rings into your childhood. What do you think about the news of Hanna's health struggles?
Well, yeah, him and good old Steve.
Crikey.
All right. That sucks, man. He said how many years? He said 40 some.
It says in the article that he was the director of the Columbus Zoo for 42 years.
Jeez.
Wow.
So hey, it's like I said, if you name drop this guy, it's like, yeah, you know exactly, you've seen him before, or even if even if you don't watch, like I said, any of the late night stuff, it's like, no, you know who this guy is. Just sucks to hear that shit, man. It's like, I know age is something that comes for us all. I know it sucks, but that's a good run.
Yeah, Tex, like I said, me and you being the older of the three on here right now, we go back a ways. You probably go back as far as I do to, was it Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom and stuff like that back in the 80s. I don't know. What do you think about this sad news?
Obviously, Alzheimer's is horrible. You're trapped in your own body. You don't even know your own family. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But, this guy's brought a lot of joy to a lot of people. And, from the Tonight shows to all of the animal shows that he's done over the years. Whenever I was a kid, we saw him live at a zoo. I can't remember if it was some kind of special thing he was doing. It was either in Houston or Galveston. I can't remember either way, it doesn't matter. It was, he was the animal guy. He'd show up to Jay Leno or whoever, and he'd wrap a snake around their neck, or he'd have some sort of animal you never even heard of. He was the just wholesome kind of entertainment that everybody had fun with. And, you hate to hear these things, and, prayers for him and his family, because stuff like this is not easy. But I'm sure they know the impact that he's had on the world. You know what I mean? How could you not? So,
yeah, in a Twitter post that his family put up, I think it was Twitter, maybe Instagram, I'm not sure, one of the social media outlets. His family posted, "We welcome the Dispatch News into our home for a real-world look into living with Alzheimer's disease. While Dad Jack is still mobile, his mind fails him. The light in his eyes is dimmed, and we miss who he was each and every moment of the day." That was the post, I think, from Twitter on June 21st, about 5 days ago. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like I said, I remember as a kid, Mutual of Omaha, Wild Kingdom was one of the things that I watched religiously when I was a kid. And then obviously Jack Hanna was part of that. There were some other people, and then he was kind of the forerunner, which led to people like the Crocodile Hunter, Steve Irwin, and a couple others. There's the guy Coyote, what's his name, that's on YouTube now. Guys like Jack Hanna kind of set the stage for that, and it's very important to educate kids about everything nature. The one left-leaning thing that I do is I'm really big on the environment and trying to take care of animals and the planet, and this is one of the people that kind of teaches us why that's important. He has been for the better part of, for more than 40 years, for most of my life. I'm old, but for 85% of my life, this guy's been doing it.
Longer than I've been alive.
Yeah, the director of a great zoo. This zoo's only an hour or so away from where Jeremy and I are right now. I know we both have been there several times, and it's a great zoo. It's one of my favorite zoos that I've ever been to. And it's really, really sad that and this tugs at me, not just as a person who likes to get educated about animals and nature, but as someone who watched this guy and guys like him throughout all of his childhood. It's sad. It's sad. It's definitely going to be a tough moment when the end does finally come. It's made even more sad by the fact that he has to deal with this disease. Alzheimer's disease is just no joke. I consider myself lucky that my family has never really had to deal with it, but I know many people have. A couple of good friends of mine. One of my good friends that I used to work with lost his dad to Alzheimer's. So yeah, it's a very real thing. It's very, very sad that it has to happen to somebody who's so wonderful. I've never heard anybody say a bad word about the guy. And I know some people that have met him. Like I said, he was up at Columbus Zoo an hour from here for the better part of half a century. So it's really sad and unfortunate. So I would suggest to anybody watching right now, go back and see some of these old things that he did. Going over some of the stuff he did. Let me see here. Before the onset of the disease, this article on Deadline reads, Hanna was well known for animal demonstrations on talk shows hosted by Johnny Carson, David Letterman, and James Corden. He also hosted the syndicated TV show Jack Hanna's Animal Adventures from 1993 to 2008, Jack Hanna's Into the Wild, which started in 2007, and Jack Hanna's Wild Countdown, which ended in 2020. So, so this guy's been out there educating people for a long, long, long time about animals and why it's important to take care of nature. And I have a great deal of respect for that. It's just unfortunate that for all the great work he's done, that he has to be burdened with this disease, that his family has to be burdened with this disease. But, if the Columbus Zoo was giving people a way to send some good thoughts this guy's way, I would promote you guys to go to their website and see what kind of things that you could do to maybe do that. I know I probably will, but it's unfortunate. It's very sad. We wish we can do,
Oh yeah.
But go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think. Did you watch Jack Hanna? Again, he's been doing it for the better part of half a century. I'm sure you've seen at least his appearances on talk shows, which are always really, really fun to watch. He always had some crazy animals. A couple of them, I was like, is that really a thing? Does that really exist? And sure as shit it did. And watching him, wrap snakes around Jay Leno was always kind of fun, because was it Leno or I don't remember if it was Leno or Carson that had like a real bad snake phobia. And it seemed like every time he was on there, it was like they would go through the thing and they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I got one more animal," and of course he bring out a snake, and that's when the host would kind of like, he would kind of start to freak out. I want to say it was Carson, but I don't know. It's been so long ago. But anyway, go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know some of your memories of Jack Hanna, and I'm sure I speak for everybody here, but I wish him the very best.
Of course.
But moving on to our next story though, the hunt is officially on. And Aaron Taylor Johnson is going on a wild rampage in the latest trailer for Kraven the Hunter. The footage released Monday shows a glimpse at how Taylor Johnson's Sergei Kravinoff became Kraven. While on safari to hunt lions with his father, played by Russell Crowe, a crime lord and hunter, Sergei is attacked by a lion after failing to shoot it. Having been seen as weak in his father's eyes, he's left for dead. But everything changes when the lion's bite seems to give him superpowers. Tex, you saw the trailer. What did you think of this first trailer for Kraven the Hunter?
I enjoyed it. I liked it. Now I'm leery about these Sony-produced Spider-Man villain movies minus a Spider-Man. I mean, we've had 2 Venoms. You know, they're you know, I mean, they should have been rated R, but it's whatever. And we had Morbius that I don't think any of us want to talk about. But this trailer looks cool. I mean, yeah, you get Russell Crowe. He was, you know, Zeus. Now he's Superman and Kraven's daddy. So he's just jumping all over the multiverse and just hitting it all, I guess. So, you know, hey, I guess cash in while you can, right? But, no, I mean, the trailer was good. Nothing spectacular. Nothing that, oh, my God, it wasn't one of those trailers that I had to watch it 2 or 3 times. It wasn't one of those things. I saw it once. I saw what I liked, and then I really like the ending of this trailer. And there is one reason why I want to go see this. It's because we're getting Rhino. And I know we had Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think it was. But it was that weird robot version. It wasn't what Rhino is. I mean, did it look cool? Yeah, but whatever. This trailer ends with, and I don't know the name of the character, but the guy that plays Rhino, you see his hand like transforming into a rhinoceros skin and growing and whatever. That has me interested more than anything. And I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson, he did good in this trailer. He looks convincing. He looks like Kraven from the comics. But I'm hopeful, but I'm keeping my expectations low because, like I said, this is a Spider-Man less Sony villain film. So, they're going to have to earn their track record before I give them too much hope.
Yeah, Jeremy, I know that you said that you didn't get a chance to watch the trailer before we went live, but I mean, you heard Tex talk. I mean, there's been some stuff on the internet about it. Are you as surprised that I am this movie is actually getting made? Because I feel like this is kind of like The Flash and that it's been in development for 200 or 300 years, and we never really were sure if it was actually going to happen. I mean, what are some of your thoughts on just the fact that we actually now have tangible evidence this movie is actually going to come to theaters?
Well, I mean, it's nice. Like I said, you believe this until we see it. So, I mean, this is a good start. I mean, I'll take your guys' word for it. I mean, just little snippets that I've even just kind of scrolled by. I'm like, well, this looks pretty good.
Scrolled. I see what you did there.
We're not there yet. I don't know if I can make that a word. Is that a Freudian slip?
I was going to say, I think Jeremy just slipped, and I think we know who the traitor is now. I think he just revealed himself.
See, but what you're saying right now, that's exactly what a scroll would say. So I got my.
Hey, everybody's a suspect. I don't want to hear it. All right, everybody's a suspect.
Maybe Jamie Kennedy's a scroll. I don't know.
Oh, I knew it.
Hell. But yeah, no. At least it's something that we can say now with a little more certainty that this is going to happen. And I'm a little. I mean, is as cool, but also kind of weird as the whole Russian dude in a mech rhino suit was. And I think we kind of where was that? Where was it? We saw like the guy walking down. It was like the Sinister Six, and you saw like Vulture, you saw Rhino, and all the.
Wasn't that Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield?
Was it? Because I'm like, I feel like why did they have?
I think
that?
so.
Because like the ending was like he went to start fighting Rhino, and it kind of just ended there. And I'm like, okay, but who was that walking down the the line of we see all the costumes of all the villains? So I'm like, well, we kind of got robbed of that. So maybe
yeah, but this version of Rhino is the actual version. Like, I don't know his exact comic origin, but I know it's in the comic book. The guy that becomes Rhino, he goes and he takes the same serum that Captain America got. Like, because like Wolverine, Captain America, Red Skull, there was a whole bunch of Marvel characters that tried the whole super soldier serum thing.
Yeah.
And Rhino was one of them. And that's how he could transform into the Rhino. So hopefully they stick close to that, but they're not going to call out Captain America directly, but they could hint around it, I guess, however they want to.
But then I wonder, is any of this going to tie into Spider-Man in any way? And like, where does this leave? I saw. God, I'm already in Loki mode. I almost said Mobius. God damn it. That's confusing as hell when you got Agent Mobius, then you got Morbius.
There's too many multiverses. That's the problem. We went over this last week with Flash. There's too many multiverses. We can't keep up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I saw it and I was kind of like, okay, are we actually doing this or what are we? My only thought was I don't know why basically the entire trailer was a lie. And my only connection to it, what I was hoping for is, we saw Michael Keaton come in as Vulture and said, like, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm sure it has to do with Spider-Man. I was like, okay, but huh?
Well,
and the only thing is that damn mural sticks out in my head where it's got that thing of Spider-Man, but then someone spray tagged murderer across it. And I'm like, well, the only time we saw that villain come to light was in Andrew Garfield's world. Remember when he got there with the other two, he was like, his path was he got real dark. He's like, I got angry, I got vengeful. And I'm like, did you fucking kill somebody? Because that could be why I thought it was his world that we were supposed to be in. The Andrew Garfield universe, so I'm like,
well, technically, Venom went to the MCU, and assuming that Kraven is in the same world as Venom and Mobius, then why couldn't it cross over? You know what I mean? It's
that's what I'm wanting to know.
But to be honest, all it takes is Marvel and Sony striking a deal, and Doctor Strange opened a portal, and here comes Kraven or whoever they want. It's that easy. It's not hard. Or they could pull Tom Holland over there, or hell, Andrew Garfield's not doing anything. Have him be the Sony Spider-Man. I don't know why they're not doing that, but there's so many options. You know what I mean?
Bring back Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen. God damn it, we got robbed.
Yeah, hell, they've got a Spider-Verse movie right now where there's like 1 billion Spider-Men. So why isn't Sony using any of them? I don't understand this. But.
Why are we funding this?
Right. Yeah. You've got a world full of Spider-Man, and you're doing a Spider-Man-less world that the movies aren't. I don't know how well Venom movies did, but either the first or the second, but. I know Morbius tanked because God, that thing was awful. I couldn't even finish it. But
well, a lot of Morbius tanking was the changes they made at the last second. I think a lot of people would have put up with a relatively subpar movie had they not cut out all the references to Spider-Man that were promised. Because because we talked about this when it came out. That was kind of a last second decision to cut out all the references to Spider-Man, and the only real reference to be Adrian Toomes being in there for a minute, a total screen
like
time,
I said, then
between when he was in the body of the movie and So so that was probably a big part of it. And when you got to cut some significant stuff like that out, it leaves a lot of holes in the movie, and that's one of the things that hurt that. It probably wasn't going to be a great movie to begin with, but if it would have been something that was a little bit more complete that would have fit, I think people would have been a little bit more forgiving. As far as I'm concerned, it was kind of a tale of two things with this trailer for me. The actiony stuff looked fucking phenomenal. Him using that rhino horn. We lost Tex again, but him
in the Spider-Verse now.
Yeah, him using the rhino horn to go from car to car and just stabbing people in the neck. He bites the guy's nose off and spits at the camera. I was like, that's pretty awesome. I'm with it on that one. I love watching Russell Crowe. I mean, that little bit of a origin that we got with Russell Crowe and his sons hunting the lion, that was interesting enough. But the parts of this movie that I like, I think they get kind of canceled out for me right now by the parts that I didn't like. And the reason I didn't like it was because they looked an awful lot like Morbius. And Morbius so badly. And I wanted to like that movie. And there were things about the movie I liked. I love Matt Smith. Loved his performance. And I like Jared Leto as the character. It's just the movie.
He looks cool as Morbius. His look wasn't a problem, you know.
And I'm really, really concerned with the parts that look like Morbius. I think right now Sony, not the MCU, but Sony and what they're doing with Spider-Man, it's not as bad as what DC had been doing for a while, but they're pretty damn close. I mean, because now you say that Venom didn't work without Spider-Man. I actually thought both the Venom movies did very, very well without Spider-Man, because I was one of the people that was saying the same thing. How do you have Venom without Spider-Man? They made it work somehow. And then, of course, eventually they kind of brought them back together, sort of, but not really. I'm sure there's going to be
for like 2 seconds, and then nope, get back to Sony. You're only allowed to, whatever. They quickly got rid of it.
But I mean, I thought Venom did very well. I was hoping Morbius was going to do well, because the trailers didn't look too bad, and I'm really into the idea of it all, but it just didn't work. So if this doesn't happen quite the right way, I'm going to feel pretty shady about what Sony's doing with its Spider-Man specific stuff moving forward, not including Into the Spider-Verse and stuff like that, I haven't seen either one of them yet, but they're both doing gangbusters. I've heard people say that those two movies are two of the best comic book movies ever made. I think that's probably heaping a bit too much praise on them, but a lot of people are saying that, so they had to have done pretty damn well. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. What were you going to say, Tex?
Oh no, I was going to say. I mean, yes. I mean, okay. On the DC side, we've had Joker. He had his solo film that wasn't attached to anything, and it did $1 billion. And we've had 2 Venom movies. We've had a Morbius movie. I mean, you can only make so many superhero films till some. They want to change the mold and make villain movies. And ideally, I like the idea of a villain-based, set of films, but it only works if they do the Avengers thing, do the Universal, horror monster studio thing, and bring them together. Frankenstein eventually met Wolfman. Dracula met, the Invisible Man, whatever it was. These people need to cross over, and I mean, like the whole Morbius thing. Yeah, we were teased with so many things that were cut out, but Sony just doesn't have the track record, and this is the problem. I mean, the Kraven trailer looks cool. Like I said, I'm going just for the Rhino, but they need to get a little more cohesive if that's what they're going towards. Otherwise, they need a Spider-Man. I don't think Sony has people's trust, at least in live action. I mean, their animated stuff, they're killing it, but it is what it is.
And the video games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Spider-Man games are huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sony's got my trust right now, but when Morbius bombed as bad as it did, I mean, it's like you can have one bomb in a franchise, and it'll be okay.
Everybody bombs,
But once you have 2 bombs in a row, the perception and the expectations start to change, and it's really, really hard to get it back to where it was, because if you have 2 movies bomb in a row, you need 4 movies to kill it in a row before you really fully get back to where you were. So you can't do like what DC was doing. You have like a couple of shitty movies and a good movie, Wonder Woman, and a good movie in Aquaman, and a shitty movie, and then a good movie in Shazam. That's one of the reasons why even the good stuff that DC's done has been kind of shit on. It's like Flash. I think Flash is a much better movie than what the box office is, if I'm just looking at the raw numbers. But I mean, I can understand why that movie didn't do well, because people are like, well, DC's been more hit than miss. And to top it off, Ezra Miller, whatever, say what you will about his stuff. This is all going to come to an end anyway, so why get invested? I mean, I get it, but that hurts when you have a track record of being really shoddy and not really hit it and not doing very well, except for in spots. Marvel's been really fortunate. I don't think any of their movies have really bombed. I know Black Widow was really screwed over by the pandemic. That's pretty clear. And the last couple of movies, I think there's still a lot of things that are being worked out in the universe and with theatrically going to the movies and stuff like that. But I mean, they're still putting out fairly high quality products, so they can afford a slip or two here and there. Sony and DC, they can't, because Sony, while they've done Spider-Man well, they've not done as good with Spider-Man as a whole without Marvel's help. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because even Tobey Maguire's, everybody loves Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, as do I. Remember, for a while, the first Spider-Man movie of Tobey Maguire was the best comic book movie ever made.
I think it's still one of the best if you were to argue it. I think it's still up there.
Some people would agree with you. Some people would agree with you, and that's a valid argument. But I mean, but the third one, not so great. The first Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, I actually like the first one. The second one, not so good. But you ended that one on a sour note, just like you did Tobey Maguire's. So now you've got this Tom Holland thing going. You've got the help of Marvel and all their writers and stuff like that. And you want to use that to kind of build your own universe. But the first time you step out and do something outside of that, well, the second time really, because Venom I think worked pretty well. And then you try to expand that out with Morbius. Fails really bad. This Kraven the Hunter thing has taken a long time to get together. Part of it was a lot of delays because of the pandemic, so I'll give them a little bit of a flyer. But I mean, this trailer, like I said, the action stuff was good, but there's a lot of it that kind of looks very Morbius-like, and that's got me a little concerned. So right now, I think Sony needs to concentrate on just making a great movie. And don't worry so much about tying it into Spider-Man or Morbius or anything else. Just establish this character, do it very, very well. And if you want to connect it in this movie, make it a post-credit scene. Nothing in the main body of the film. I think that will take away from it if you try to shoehorn that into your main storyline. You're not going to do yourself any favors.
I do think there's another factor that comes into this, though, and I mean it's being talked about a lot right now, but I do believe there is a lot of superhero multiverse fatigue, because everybody who produces these things, who has right to a superhero franchise, they pump it out like it's just going out of style, and so much of it is similar. That's one thing I do agree with James Gunn on, is it's very formulaic. I mean, and we live in the times of movies aren't making as much as they used to. More people, since the lockdown, how many people never went back to the theater? I mean, that's one of the things that you preach on here, is go back to the theater physically and see a movie. And, if people know, if the movie tanks, if it's not good, it'll be on streaming in less than a month. So why am I going to waste my time and money to go actually see it? So I think the fatigue is here, and even with as knowledgeable as the three of us are on who belongs in what universe and who goes where, to the general audience, they think, oh, it's another superhero movie. Is Batman going to show up or whatever? I don't think the general audience cares enough to actually do the research on these things. So, is Kraven going to be good enough to stand out and think, oh crap, I need to see this in theaters? I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't have a lot of hope, but I'd love to be wrong. I mean, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. But I don't know. I thought the trailer was mostly good. A few things that I'm concerned with, but I want to see more. I'm not so desolate after seeing this trailer that I'm willing to write the movie off, because it looked like there's a lot of quality things. I mean, Russell Crowe, you can't go wrong with talent. I mean, the one thing that I kind of rolled my eyes at in the trailer was when it shows what happens. He gets attacked by the lion. He's laying there. And
he gets the blood in him or whatever.
And part of me was kind of like, come on, can we just not do this same old thing about he was bitten by a thing and took that thing's power? I mean, come on. It's become a little bit of a trope, and I'm like, can we at least give him an original? Yeah, can we give him at least can we change his origin story enough to where we make it unique? Make it a spiritual thing, because I feel like it would look better like that more than it would be, just like he got bit by a lion and got the lion's powers. I don't know.
He's Lion Man.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I have the power. That's
he kills and skins a lion and wears his head as a mask or something. That'd be kind of cool. I'd be down for that. That'd be that'd be a little different. Why not?
Yeah, but I don't know. Go down in the comments. Well, let us know what you guys think. If you saw the trailer for Kraven the Hunter, what do you think? Was it good? Was it bad? I mean, who do you agree with? I mean, are you looking forward to it? I still am ultimately, but I'm now cautiously optimistic rather than just optimistic. That's kind of my point of view on the whole thing now. But go down in the comments and let us know what you guys thought of the trailer. Now, moving on to our last topic of the night. Episode 1 of Secret Invasion dropped last week on Disney Plus, giving us our first good look in quite a while at Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. While the episode was mostly set up for the rest of the series, the show did leave us with quite a shock right there at the end. Jeremy, it's again mostly set up for this episode, but a couple of things that need to be discussed. What did you think of episode 1?
Overall, I mean, I'm trying to give it the old anime try. Gotta give it the good old 1-2. You literally, I've always been told, I've applied this to other shows as well. I'm like, I will give you 2 episodes because you really, for some reason, it's always that way. It's like, I mean, that's how you write a story. You want to draw people in, you want to get them invested in your story. You gotta have the draw in first, and then it's like, okay, then maybe like episode 2, sometimes maybe 3, but like by 2, it might start getting real, or it might be a little bit more meat on the bone, as it were. Honestly, for the first episode, I'm like, we know what it is. It's some invasion of the body snatchers type, they live type thing.
Right.
Again, I can hear somewhere. If you look over Sam Jackson's shoulder, you can see a ghostly outline of Jamie Kennedy screaming everybody's a suspect.
Oh, they gotta cast him in this show, just screaming in the background. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be awesome. But as a premise of like, yeah, it kind of had like a weird Cold War-esque type, you can't trust anybody. Your guy next to you at the bar could be a Skrull, which I'm pretty sure that guy in the bar might have been a Skrull, because I don't know why you would say that to somebody. That was weird. Yeah, I like that it kind of keeps me in like just take everything with a grain of salt, because I'm like, I don't know, the next two seconds that guy can get shot and all of a sudden his face turns green. I'm like, well, that guy was a Skrull. Damn it. I like the setup. I mean, I kind of hate that though. Maybe it's just because like we do this stuff a lot, but I mean, as soon as I saw Agent Ross, I was immediately like, he's a Skrull. That's not even him, is it? I hate that I did it to myself.
I knew that one of the 2 was. I was just waiting for the reveal of who was. And
for a second,
the rest of the story.
My logic was, I'm like, well, we know who he is. We trust this guy. We've seen him. I don't know who the hell this crazy like Charlie Day almost looking dude about to talk about like some Skrull shit. And I'm like, now you'd make me think he is, but I know you. I bet you it's actually Agent Ross. And he shoots the guy, and I was like, oh, did Agent Ross shoot it? No, it's Skrull. It's got to be. And then when the bit of the end before the title screen came up, and the show turned into the opening scene of The Matrix for some reason.
That looked horrible. Oh my god!
And then he face planted like 3-story, or not even 3 stories, like 6-story building. I was like, yeah, well, he's dead. That's not. Yeah. But man, you couldn't have maybe made the blood look a little more. I mean, just. So I was
gonna say, how about those CGI wounds? Did you enjoy that nonsense?
No,
that looked horrible.
I didn't, and I get it. I don't know how that's.
How much does fake blood cost? Like what? $5 a jar? I mean, come on. I mean,
trust me.
Jesus.
I would know. It doesn't cost that much.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I do it
my Lord.
I 2 nights a fucking week for a month and a half. I don't know. I kind of like the setup. I'm just kind of I mean, given the little twist that we saw, which I'm sure we'll talk about at the end, I'm like, okay, but who was really the one the whole time? And it's gonna bend my mind. I'm trying to not do that, but I'm also it's sticking in the back of my head, which I like. That's kind of the point. That I'm just side-eyeing everybody because I don't know who to fucking trust now.
Right.
But you can always trust Ben Mendelsohn. You can always trust him.
Yeah. Okay. Kalos is cool. But I don't know. Tex, what did you think? I mean, we're now one episode into this 6 episodes arc. What did the first episode do it for you?
Well, it's like I was texting, when we were in the group earlier. Not knowing, like, okay, I watched Captain Marvel once, and I'm like, this is horrible. I don't ever want to see this again. No, thank you. This is, if you haven't seen Captain Marvel going into this show, you're already behind the 8 ball.
There was a sequel to it, yeah.
No, it's very much a sequel. It's Captain Marvel without Captain Marvel, and
but is that really a bad thing?
Oh no, please! The less stuff we can have Brie Larson in, the better off we're going to be. We should never see her again. But
we got the Marvels though. You're gonna have to bite your tongue.
Oh, I'm going to be sick that day. I'm telling y'all ahead of time. I'm going to be negative Nancy, and I will have nothing good to say when that review happens. Just telling you now. But no, the show, it was, like I said, I was about 10 minutes in. I'm like, okay, there's a lot going on here that I don't know. My first thought was, my God, why does Disney do this to these older male characters? They gave Nick Fury the Luke Skywalker treatment. He's old, decrepit. He doesn't really care about the things that he used to. He's not passionate anymore. This Nick Fury is the same as Luke Skywalker was in the Disney, when he tosses the lightsaber over the shoulder. It's very much the same person. When you have other characters telling Nick Fury, oh, well, let me tell you about your story. Why did they do that? Was that just for the general audience to catch them up that may not know? That seemed like an odd choice to me. But, I mean, Nick, unless the Skrull guy knows that Nick Fury is actually a Skrull, so he's informing him or something. I don't know. That's something I may have spoiled something 3 episodes ahead of time. If so, I'll get extra points. But it was just an episode. I mean, I watched it twice, and honestly, the only memorable thing was what they did to Nick Fury, and obviously the ending. But it was fine. It wasn't bad. It was just okay. I mean, nothing spectacular.
He's already past his midlife crisis now. That's the point. He already had the Avengers.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, hey, getting the Avengers as a midlife crisis present, hey, you're doing well. I mean, just saying.
You can do worse.
With your fears, the Avengers.
If you can get a Black Widow, a Hulk, a Captain America, forget your red Corvette. You did well. You know what I mean? It was a fine episode. It was just, it seemed, I mean, I don't want to say Phase 4 Marvel standard. It wasn't that bad, but it was just a show. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, it was, it was pretty much what I thought it was going to be. It was a lot of setup. Here's where you are in the universe right now. Mm-hmm. Here's where we are with these characters. Here's the 2 big storylines, and end of episode 1, episode 2 is where we're just going to go balls out and we're going to give you guys everything. That's kind of what I figure is going to happen. The 2 things really that jumped out at me from this episode. One was I really am interested in the idea of Talos's daughter being one of the villains. Her being kind of disenfranchised because she feels like that Nick Fury and Captain Marvel and all the other people in S.H.I.E.L.D. has not kept their promise that was made to them at the end of Miss Marvel about finding them a new home, or Captain Marvel about finding them a new home. I kind of get it. I like the fact that she's a villain in the way that Aaron Kellyman, that she was a villain in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I really liked her character. I really liked her portrayal. I thought it was fantastic. We're going to get another villain like that. Someone who's not, she's got the ability. She's a changeling, but it's like it's a very human person to kind of connect with, even though they're technically the bad guy. I like that. Obviously, the Secret Invasion storyline is going to be a lot of fun. I'm fairly familiar with it with the comics. I know this is going to be a direct interpretation, but I'm kind of thrilled with the way this is all looking so far. But I'm also really, really into the bad guy. There is something about this guy. I'm going to blank on his name. Damn it. Why am I drawing a blank in the name? Damn it. I was just reading his name. But I really love just a little bit that we've got of him in this episode. I thought was really awesome. The way that he doesn't say a word, but he just looks at Nick Fury and he triggers the bombs. The way that he pretends to be Nick Fury when he shoots Maria Hill towards the end of the episode. There is something that is very quietly menacing about him, and those are some of the funnest bad guys to watch on screen. I'm really eager to see where they go with this because I think this is going to be a lot of fun. One thing that disappointed me about this episode, I got to be honest. It was a shocker to watch. Yeah. And at the end of the episode, my jaw had dropped a bit, and I was like, wow, what a way to end this first episode. But then I got to thinking about it later on that night, and I was reading some of the stuff that Colby Smolder said about Maria Hill in the series. And she says that she is not just another S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in this. She gets to explore her a lot more. And I'm thinking to myself, how the hell did you explore her a lot more if she gets off in the first episode? Because the right. Maria Hill that we got in this episode is vintage Maria Hill that we've gotten throughout. I mean, when did we first see her? We first saw her in
Avengers.
Was it Avengers? Well, we first full-time Avengers, yes, but I think she was in one maybe post-credit scene before that, or one small scene before that. One of the movies, I forget which one.
I can't remember anything past Avengers, honestly.
But you know, so she says, "Yeah, we're gonna get to explore her more." She's basically the same Maria Hill we've always gotten. So that right away telegraphs to me that they are already going to pull more of this MC fake death you bullshit, and that she's not really dead. That we're going to find out that version of Maria Hill was a Skrull. And that,
I was like, she didn't turn green. I was like,
that's not to say.
You didn't see her die before the end of the episode, though.
Like, not to say you're not going to see a flashback where they're going to cut back to this very death scene on screen right now, and you're going to see her change where they just didn't see it change in the end of the film.
So it feels a little cheap then. You set up that whole thing to actually telegraph that she died. I was like, well, that's a hell of a way to, I mean, that's a pretty ballsy way to end the episode and to start this whole thing off. But but that's what I'm saying in the back of my head, that I'm like, yeah, but it maybe it wasn't her. And I hate that's going to, I'm going to be questioning every interaction with every character in this series. But maybe they expect that. They know people are going to be looking at it and thinking, oh, okay, this could not be that person.
Here's the biggest problem for the show, though, is the fans. Because before I ever got to watch it, everything was spoiled. Oh, here's all the secrets. So there's no point in watching the show. I mean, this is one of those deals that, unfortunately, is going to suffer from it greatly because, I mean, the worst thing for a whodunit is telling you who the who was. And, you know, I mean, you can thank Twitter and social media for that nonsense. But it's inevitable unless you this may be my least favorite thing about fandom is unless you watch something the second that it comes out, you're going to get it spoiled. And I think for a lot of people, that's going to hurt it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, most of the diehard MCU fans are going to watch it anyway, like me. I wasn't spoiled for anything in this other than some of the stuff I already knew about the comic book storyline that I figure is probably going to play a role in this.
This has very little to do with the comic story. There's so many characters that they're not going to be involved in this, unfortunately. But it's sad. You know, whatever.
Well, that we know of so far. You never know. We could have an introduction to the X-Men by the time this thing is over. We have no idea what's coming.
Please.
They could shock the hell out of us with that. But yeah.
What if it turns blue and it's Mystique all of a sudden instead they turn green? It's like, oh, shit.
Maybe we find out that Mystique is actually a Skrull. I mean, same ability, right?
I mean, Mystique.
We find out that Mystique is actually a Skrull.
Yeah.
Or she.
Let's see.
I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I'm just.
Well, Loki, he can change too, right? Because he changed into Captain America. He doesn't have any Skrull in him. He was what was he? I can't remember.
Frost Giant.
Frost Giant.
He's basically a god, so he has different.
Oh yeah, he has a god.
Right. Yeah.
He's a trickster god of illusions and stuff. So yeah, of course he can.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and again, I really love the idea of making Talos' daughter the bad guy. And Emilia Clarke, I'm not going to lie, I know she's been shit on for a lot of the stuff that she's done away from from the
Game of
Sword and
Thrones.
Shield that she was in
Game of Thrones.
I know she's been shown for a lot of things. After this first episode, I really like her in the role. I think she's going to do great. And again, I really like this dynamic about her being the protagonist and her dad trying to be one of the people that's trying to stop it. I thought that back and forth in this scene in particular, I thought was really, really good. And it's one of the things I'm really looking forward to. So I mean, to me, ultimately, at the end of this episode, I'm a little annoyed at the whole Maria Hill death because I know that it's just fake. But there's a lot about this that excites me moving forward. That's kind of my ultimate thought about this episode after it's over.
I think, I mean, I love Amelia Clark. I don't have anything against her. I mean, she's got a really infectious smile. Like when she gets all happy and smiley, it's like you just can't help but just feel all warm inside. You're like, man, she seems really nice. Although, you know, she is kind of typecasted as like, oh yeah, she's definitely not some woman who's going to burn the entire place to the ground, right? Step with dragon, she's going to do it with nukes. Like,
she does.
Well, how do y'all feel about? Yeah, okay, because they say Skrulls live in abandoned nuclear sites, right? Whatever. And but then they go on to say, oh well, we can't find them. We don't know where they are. We're dealing with SHIELD here. Like this is the government agency it literally has spy trackers on everything. You can't find a nuclear site. Well, okay. Well, it's not SHIELD. It's what's the new one? Sword or whichever one did Nick Fury create?
Well, he's on Saber. That's the one in space.
Saber, that was it. Saber.
Is it Saber or Sword? I couldn't remember. But either way.
Sword was from WandaVision. SHIELD's the old one, and then Saber's the one that's supposed to be in space. Yeah.
Okay, well, how can they
there
not?
Was a Star Wars joke there too, and they totally missed out on that shit. I'm like, how
do they not know where nuclear sites are? You'd think that's something you keep track of. I mean, that seemed like a huge problem for me. It was like this wasn't like it was an underground site. No, this is nuclear. I mean, even in our world, how close do we keep tabs on who has what when it comes to nuclear and sites? And hell, we fought a whole war for it or a fake war or a real war for fake nukes. That was a whole thing, whatever. But I mean, it just seems like that's something that the government would know about. It seemed like a big hole for me.
Yeah, if you saw a bunch of people casually strolling around Chernobyl all of a sudden, you'd be like, well,
right. Somebody's going to talk. Be like, hey, why are all those people living in the radiation? I guess it's not so bad. Whatever.
Maybe they're just big fans of the game Fallout. I don't know. They want the real experience. They paid $250,000 for that shit.
And I was very upset that the conspiracy theory guy died in like 5 minutes at the beginning because I really liked him. I would have, oh, of course, that's my dude. Yeah, I'm like, hey, that would be me if I was in that world. But, I mean, it's like, you kill the Alex Jones character. Like, how fun would it have been to have him be like the running commentary? He gets like a couple minutes in each episode. He could be like the Indus Nye guy on the, out there on the street corner screaming, telling everybody the truth, but nobody believes him. I thought that would have been a little.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the whole gimmick of it. Nobody believes him. Everybody thinks he's nuts. He's their Rorschach, like in Watchmen or whatever. And it was just like, he's telling you the truth, but no, you kill him off. But I don't know, whatever. That was a personal gripe.
Yeah, it's like in going back to Fallout. Yeah, it's like when you're stuck in Tranquility Lane. For those of you that know, it's basically like the Matrix. But the problem is, like of course, the crazy old batshit cat lady down the road is saying like, "Oh, that abandoned house. It's like there's some weird shit in there. It's like this isn't real. We're not actually here." And they're all like, silly old Mrs. Abernathy. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Like, no, she's right. We're not actually here. This is all fake in our head. But yeah.
Now,
like she's actually telling the truth, but they all have no idea.
Everett Ross, he's mainly a Black Panther character. Yes or no?
Kinda.
Well, I mean, he's been featured more in Black Panther, but he's a part of the universe. So
yeah.
Show up anywhere.
So he never died in any other film or anything, though.
No, we first get him in Civil War.
Okay, so as far as we know, I mean, obviously that was a Skrull, not Everett Ross, that died.
Yeah.
So he's still on the board, alive and well as far as we know. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was like I said, I'm not. My Marvel knowledge is, I'm not, but hitting par here with it, but doing what I can. But I think this show's going to be real confusing to a more casual Marvel fan, which I would consider myself. But I think it's going to trip up a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not so worried about it right now. I think even the casual fans, honestly, I think the way that Marvel does these shows and movies, not being direct adaptations from the comic books anyway, probably helps it with the casual fans, because you don't have to be in the know. Because even people who are more in the know, like we are about a lot of these things, we're going into it just as fresh as they are. We're just a little more excited because we already have this pre-existing history with some of the characters, whereas other people are coming in a little bit more raw. But yeah, I'm not worried about it. I thought overall it was a pretty good first episode. I'm not really complaining about anything other than the fact that I'm 100% sure that the scene is all one big giant lie. It was kind of a big shock at first, but then I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is the MCU, and only one person has ever really died in the MCU, and we're not even 100% sure. And they still kind of came back, sort of, in the form of in another form in WandaVision. So I mean, I don't know. There's plenty here to be happy with as far as I'm concerned. Plenty of things to be excited about moving forward. But one little thing kind of pushed me.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
Oh, okay. No, I was going to ask. The guy that he's Iron Man's buddy. What's his face? James Rhodey or
Rhodey?
Oh, Rhodey. Yeah.
Rhodey. Yeah, Rhodey. He's the other. He's a War Machine or War Machine. Yeah. Obviously, he was a different actor in the first Iron Man film. He was Terrence Howard in that first movie. Do you think they're ballsy enough to go back that far and be like, oh, well, this was the actual Rhodey, but he was replaced, and for whatever reason, it would be kind of funny. I don't think they will, but I think it would be hilarious if they did.
That would be funny, but I don't think they want to rekindle any of the drama, even though it was relatively small drama that led to Terrence Howard.
I mean, I don't know why Terrence Howard wasn't in Iron Man 2. I don't know the story behind that, but
he wanted more money. He wanted to be paid, as I've read it, he wanted to be paid as much money as Robert Downey Jr. and Marvel was like, well, we're not paying that kind of money to the sidekick. So
that's fair.
I guess they were like, we'll pay you a little more, but we're not going to pay you what you're asking. And then it kind of went back and forth. And finally, they were like, you know what? We wanted Don Cheadle for the role in the first place anyway. He couldn't take it at first because he was doing, I think, was it Hotel Rwanda? I think it was filming about the same time. I think he ended up winning an Oscar for it. The movie ended up winning an Oscar for Best Picture.
It's a damn good movie.
Oh wow!
And when all that happened, they were like, "Well, we've got this guy available now, and we don't really have to have Terrence Howard, so we'll go back to him."
I mean, that being asked, do y'all how deep do you think? Because that Captain Marvel movie took place in the '90s, because they were in a blockbuster, I remember. So, do you think how far will they get? Well, how far would y'all guess? Do you think they go back? Oh, well, this person's actually been a Skrull all along, or blah blah blah. Do you think they're that ballsy to change major stuff, or are they going to go minor?
Maybe minor. I don't think we're going to find out that Tony Stark was a Skrull this whole time. They're not going to do anything like that. I don't.
Maybe the Stan Lee on the bus was a Skrull. I don't fucking know.
Maybe. I could see them doing something like that just to have a Stan Lee cameo at some point.
Yeah.
But
right.
He's doing I know he's going through a bunch of different faces and stuff like that to fuck with Nick Fury as he's monologuing towards the end. And one of the faces that he comes up with Stan Lee. I can see something like that. I don't think we're going to find out that any major person was a Skrull. We're not going to find out that Thanos was secretly a Skrull. We're not going to find out that Black Widow was secretly a Skrull. I don't think they're going to go that route. I mean,
it would be actually. You know what? obviously people are wanting Black Panther recast, right? This would be an easy out. If they wanted to do a major swing, be like, oh, well, that Black Panther that actually died, he was actually a green guy alien. Here's the real one. He's been in blah, 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 wherever. And it would be an easy fix if they wanted to bring back a Black Panther.
That'd be kind of messy. I don't know if that would work.
Also,
I'm not saying it wouldn't be a mess, but it's a possibility, though.
Well, speaking of a mess, you don't think the TVA'd come in here and be like, all right, okay, all you scrolls, you got to go.
Well, see, here's the beauty of this. All of those TVA agents are also Skrulls, and they covered up for him. It's a conspiracy, buddy. Everybody's a suspect. You don't know what you're dealing with.
Hey, that's the fun of this show. It's some weird espionage type shit. So, I mean,
you can take this. You can go as many 9/11 JFK, Area 51 routes as they want to. Unabomber, whoever they want. Pick your conspiracy, whatever. They can take, if they're ballsy enough, which I think Frank's right. I don't think they will, but I don't think they want to shake things up too much. But
maybe that guy Kane the Conqueror was a Skrull.
That'd be an easy out. I mean, see, that Kang was a woman beater. Our Kang is, been checked, throughout. He's a good Kang, but he's still a bad guy. So yeah, I mean, this is an easy way to recast some roles if Marvel needed to or whatever. There's a lot of options here. Oh, now.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't make sense. Never mind.
Don't forget,
this show makes my head hurt.
Yeah.
Don't forget everybody to go vote in the poll if you haven't already. Marvel's got a way of doing that every now and again. It's like, I don't understand.
It's just too many multiverses, too much to follow. It's getting hard.
I don't like multiverse anything at all. I really hope this is a short-lived thing for Marvel. I don't want any part of it. I don't think multiverse is going to play a role in this particular series, though. I don't see where it would fit. I mean, you could say that Nick Fury is from Earth fucking 827 or whatever. Yeah, so I just don't see it happening like that. But don't forget to go into the poll. For those of you watching, I've got it in there right now. What did you think of episode 1 of Secret Invasion? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was meh? Or did you think it was poop? I'm willing to bet that Tex is the one that voted poop.
I haven't voted, but if I had to, I'd go meh. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just, okay, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and close the poll out. Thanks to 8 of you that voted. 88% of you said it was good. Nobody said it was meh. I thought maybe 1 or 2 people would say it was meh. Honestly, because this whole thing's just a start. I mean, there was some action-y stuff.
Yeah.
The sequence was kind of fun and fast-paced, and the explosion stuff at the end, that whole attack was really awesome, very well done. But I thought a lot of people would think it was meh because a lot of it was just set up. We're not really balls deep in this thing yet. We probably won't be for a couple episodes. And of course, one person thought it was poop. I'm curious to know who thought it was poop. I really thought it'd be Tex.
Probably Casey.
No, I don't normally vote in these things whenever I'm doing them, just to keep the audience vote pure or whatever. But no, I don't know. I think Jeremy's right though. You got to give it at least 2 episodes. I think that's a good rule. This was, like I said, I'm behind on this show because honestly, I'm not going to go back and watch Captain Marvel. not going to do it. You can't make me.
Hey,
so
to be fair, I did give She-Hulk 2 episodes. I did try.
Hey,
way too many episodes.
Well, for watching 2.
That was 2 episodes too many. However, I'm saying I did try.
You'll get an extra star on your crown when you get to heaven for watching 2 episodes of She-Hulk. So you'll get your reward in the afterlife.
I don't think I'm going to cash that one in. I'm just going to leave that one.
You don't want that brand, don't you?
No.
One of these days, I'll be standing up there in front of St. Peter, and he's going to be all my things. I'll be like, but I gave every episode of She-Hulk a go. I'll be like, okay, I really tried.
Frank will get to live in God's neighborhood. Like he'll be in that gated community for not only watching but talking about that horrendous, heathenist show. So that's next level, buddy. So.
Yeah, but I don't know. Go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys thought of episode 1 of Secret Invasion. Again, I thought it was pretty good. I think it was mostly set up. I thought it was pretty good. I'm not really invested in that shocker at the end because I have a feeling they're just going to pull the rug out.
Yeah, I'm calling bull crap on it.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on that as well because I know what Colby Smulders has said about expanding the role. She didn't do it this episode. There's obviously going to be some stuff, and I don't remember.
Well, she expanded on fucking Impact. That's what happened.
I don't remember the last time I saw. I'll have to go back and watch the couple of trailers that came out for Secret Invasion, but I don't remember if there's other footage with her in the trailer. I would imagine there probably is footage that we haven't seen yet, so I would imagine there's going to be more Colby Smulders in the future. But that seems like a good place to start wrapping things up. I want to thank my awesome co-host for being so badass. That's my head of life here, Jeremy. What do you got going on the internet, my friend?
Well, we've always got this. We'll always have the harsh truth. That was my shitty Casablanca reference, but yeah, you get it. This isn't exactly parrots, all right? I can't.
Hey, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. All right, if we're gonna start calling out old lines, I'll go with that one. There you go. So.
But hey, there's no place like home. Right here on Thursdays, and whenever the hell else. Yeah, you like that one? Whenever the hell else we do this shit. And I'm a lazy content creator, so I don't really do jack shit. But I will say that I think I mentioned this before. Brooding Gamer, who's actually also linked down there, go check him out if you like dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
He kind of gave me the idea. I was like, since I don't do anything with my Instagram, I was like, maybe I should just kind of clean slate it and maybe make that something for more of like props and like cosplay stuff and maybe like conventions and kind of leave it up to stuff like that. Something I'm working on or, a finished product or it's like art. It's like, it's not done until you say you stop. It's like, you just kind of keep adding to it. Cause I've since changed my President Loki like 2-3 times. So it's always a work in progress. And yeah. So I think I mentioned last week I wanted to play Mafia again, but I also want to play other worlds. I want to play so many damn video games. That's all I want to do. There's too damn many of them. But COD and Fortnite always suck me back in. So that's you may see me there with Frank doing some Fortnite. I can't convince him to come back to COD, but there's always
I just haven't had time. I honestly the last couple of weeks I've played Fortnite like 3 times. I just haven't had time to do much gaming lately.
That's fair.
It's been a busy last month or so. So
yeah.
Last night I gamed for about probably about half an hour. I jumped in and played a couple of quick games on Fortnite, and I was obviously very rusty. I was having trouble doing anything, and that's a way easier game to play than Call of Duty.
Yeah, I was gonna say we jumped into one game of Resurgence. I've never played it. First game right out of the gate, we won. I was like, yeah, we're not gonna do that again the whole rest of the night. I know we're not. And I was like, wow, these guys don't seem very good. I'm just bodying every person I come up to. I'm like, this isn't right. There's no way. And then after that, then that's when it started. So, yeah, it balanced back out. I kill 3 players in the game, and I would say I'm ready for the MLG League. So, sign me up, FaZe. I don't care.
Come on, FaZe Clan. Reach out to him.
Come on. FaZe Grim does kind of roll off the tongue. You got to admit.
It does.
It really does.
It really does.
I'll work on my trick shots then.
And of course, our good friend, the Shea from the Lone Star State, R-Man Tex. What do you got going on the internet, my friend?
Oh, not too much. Whatever we review here, I know we've talked about a multitude of things and retro reviews and whatever. I'll be here for those. And besides that, Casey conned me into coming on his show briefly Friday. I'll only be there for about 20 minutes. But he wanted to rank all of the live-action Batman appearances, going from Adam West in '66 all the way to the Flash. So I'll
screw him up. I'll even consider the 2 guys from the 1940s. I will fuck him up.
Well, the canonical list that his show will be presenting is from '66 to Flash. So that includes Suicide Squad, Justice League, all of those. So tune in. Like I said, I won't be on there long, and I don't know exactly when I will be, but just go subscribe to his channel, and you'll hear me over there when I do Friday. And I'll give because there's been 13 live action movie appearances, so let's see how I rank them. I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off, and I enjoy doing that. So come check it out. So,
is this going to be appearances or actors?
Appearances in the films, the portrayal of Batman in that film. So like I said, 13 films.
So you're looking at all 3 Christian Bales are available to be ranked on.
Yes, yes. I'm looking.
Well, because
yes.
wait a minute, you also had Kevin Conroy actually appear as Bruce Wayne in Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Well, no, this was like I said, there was some go back and forth, but I mean, because originally it was ranking. It was just going to be a top 10 Batman movies, and what I had presented was animated and live action, just to make it interesting.
Right.
But that broke down into, because Casey doesn't know as many of the animated or whatever, so it was the live action appearances of Batman, and there's 13 if you count, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and then Rises, counting them each individually, and so it'll be a fun breakdown to see what ranks. I've already got mine ranked, but I won't reveal until then. But it'll be good.
I could work on that this week in case he always comes in to crash our damn show. I ought to come right into that. All right. So anyway, here's my list.
Yeah, dude, he was bragging a couple weeks ago. He was going to steal you over there anyways. You'd make his day by popping up, buddy. So
one of my games on Fortnite.
Yeah, he was talking smack. Yeah, he was talking smack that, I was over there saying how much better the harsh truth is, because we are, and they go, oh, well, Jeremy was over here, blah, 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 blah. So, it was, I don't know, but
charity work?
Either way, he conned me into, because, my movie opinion is better and more correct than his. He has the right to be wrong. This is America, for now. And, so y'all come hang out and we'll see you then.
It's not the case he has the right to be wrong. We fully expect him to be wrong.
Right. There you go. We expect him to be wrong. Yes, that is correct, sir.
It's not a right. Yeah, it's not a right expectation.
If he was ever to be right, we would be shocked. So,
is that when, you bring out your cat in the hat? You're not just wrong, you're stupid.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, where will I rank Batman 89? How many people will I make mad? Does Batman and Robin make the top 5? You'll have to tune in. Same bat time, same bat channel. And I'm out. So,
nice.
As for me, you can catch me here. I don't even know. I'll have to go over with everybody when the next review is going to be. Again, my schedule's been kind of a mess for the last 4 or 5 days. Because we expected to do this on Thursday, and here we are Monday, almost a full week later, finally getting the review for episode 1 and some of these news stories in. But so I will get with the guys and see what the next review is going to be. We'll be starting those up again, probably 2 of them next week, I'm hoping, along with the episode 2 review of Secret Invasion. I'm going to bounce out of here right now, and I'm going to go, after we get done here, I'm going to go watch Alex and the Garbage Man and give them some love. I hate streaming over those guys, but again, the schedule was a mess, so my life was a night it had to happen. So go over there and check out Alex the Garbage Man. The link to them is in the description below. Go check out all the other great content creators that are down there. A lot of really great movie fans. You can find their link to their channels in the description down below as well. Go show those guys a lot of love. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for everybody for coming out. We appreciate it. Until next time. Adios.
I couldn't believe when frickin' Captain America showed up and just punched Thor right in the balls on that Secret Invasion show.
See,
that was crazy.
No. Now you got me thinking, though. Maybe She-Hulk was a Skrull the whole time. They are both green.
Kevin Feige himself making that appearance when Kevin Feige himself appeared as the stinger for this episode. Holy crap, that was nuts! I couldn't believe it. I mean, he was like,
what's wrong with Bob on Stranger Things? I like Bob.
Just good Lord, if Sarah Connor doesn't show up and blast them freaking Demogorgons away, I'm going to be pissed. I tell you what.